I never meant to jump into the future. It wasn't bravery or curiosity that pushed me, it was fear. A fear so sharp it clawed at my ribs the night everything changed. I remember the metallic smell of the basement, the hum of the homemade device, and my own trembling hands hovering over the switch. I told myself I'd only go a few hours forward, just enough to escape what was happening upstairs. Just enough to survive. But the machine had other plans. When I opened my eyes again, I wasn't in my basement. I wasn't anywhere I recognized at all. I was in 2050, in America. America was gone. The first thing I noticed was the silence. A strange, heavy quiet, like the whole world had taken a breath and never let it out. The air tasted dusty. The sky was a pale, washed-out gray, smeared with streaks of orange, as if a wildfire had painted the horizon and never left. My legs shook as I stood, brushing off flakes of dirt from what looked like the ruins of a building. Crumbled concrete, twisted rebar, no signs of life. This can't be real, I whispered. I staggered forward, climbing onto a slab of broken stone. From there, I could see everything. Or rather, what remained of everything. Miles of abandoned structures, half-sunk highways, skeletal skyscrapers collapsed like dying giants. No flags. No cars, no lights, not even birds, just emptiness. I cupped my hands around my mouth. Hello? My voice echoed, bounced, and dissolved back into nothing. I felt the panic rising, choking me. It wasn't just that I was alone, it was that the world looked like it had been alone for a long, long time. I forced myself to move, climbing down the rubble, walking toward what looked like the remains of a road. The faded outline of a sign lay bent in the dirt. I brushed it off. Interstate 95 North. My heart stopped. I was standing on one of the busiest highways in the United States. And it looked like a grave. I walked for hours, maybe longer. The shadows stretched and shrank as the strange tinted sky shifted. My throat tightened with every empty mile. I kept hoping, praying to find someone, a person, an animal, a footprint, anything. Instead, I only found remnants. Burned out cars with vines choking their frames. A toppled billboard advertising a tech company I didn't recognize. Unigov, one world, one future. At first I thought it was some dystopian marketing stunt. But the more I walked, the more I saw it spray-painted on crumbled walls, plastered on metal panels, carved into doorframes. Unigov, World Union, Global Province 3, and then the phrase that made my blood run cold. The old nations have fallen. I felt dizzy. I didn't know how. I didn't know why. But somehow in 2050, the United States had been erased, replaced, absorbed, wiped out. And the world wanted everyone to remember it. Night arrived too quickly. The sky darkened into something sickly clouded. I found shelter inside a collapsed gas station, curling against the counter like a child hiding from the dark. I must have dozed off because a sound jolted me awake, a soft, rhythmic clicking. I held my breath. The clicking grew louder, closer, mechanical, precise. Then a voice, flat, synthetic, female. Unregistered presence detected. Reveal yourself. My heart slammed against my ribs. I crawled behind a shelf, peeking through the cracks. A machine stood in the doorway. Tall, angular, glowing with thin blue lines that pulsed like veins. Its head swept side to side, scanning. A drone, or something like it. I covered my mouth, fighting the urge to sob. Unregistered presence detected, it repeated. Identify. I stayed silent. I prayed it would leave. It didn't. It stepped into the station, each metallic foot clicking against the tile. Its arm unfolded into a glowing panel. Searching. The shelf shook as it scanned. The blue light touched my shoe and I froze. Before I could react, a hand grabbed my wrist. A human hand. Quiet, a voice whispered. I didn't have time to process anything before the stranger yanked me through a hole in the wall. We tumbled outside, sprinting into the darkness as the machine shrieked some metallic alarm. Move! He hissed. We ran until my lungs felt like they were clawing out of my chest. Finally, we dove behind an overturned truck. Only then did I see his face, a young man, maybe mid-20s. Dirt smudged on his cheek, eyes sharp and full of fear. He wasn't relieved, he wasn't curious, he was terrified of me. Are you insane? He hissed. Why are you wandering out here without clearance? I don't know what you mean, I said between gasps. I'm not from here. No kidding, he scanned the horizon. The machine's blue lights swept through the distance like slow lightning. He grabbed my shoulders, shaking me slightly. Tell me the truth. What province are you from? Province? I repeated. I'm from the United States. He stared at me as if I'd spoken another language. Then his expression shifted: curiosity, disbelief, and finally, fear. There is no United States, he whispered. Hasn't been for 15 years. My breath caught. What happened? He hesitated, glancing again toward the sweeping lights. I can't explain it here. If the trackers scanned you, they'll be hunting all night. We need to move. I swallowed hard. Move. Where? He pointed toward the distant remains of the city. To the resistance. We traveled underground through sewer tunnels, service ducts, shafts carved by desperate hands. My guide never offered his name, and I didn't dare ask. Every creak of metal or echo of our footsteps made him wince, listening. Finally, we reached a steel hatch. He tapped a pattern on it, 2 quick knocks, 1 slow, 2 more quick. It opened. Warm light spilled out, and for the first time since arriving in 2050, I saw people. Maybe 20 of them. Maybe 30. Tired eyes, worn clothes, but unmistakably human. A woman rushed forward. Who is this? Found him topside, my guide said. He says he's from the U.S. gasps. Whispers, eyes widening. A man stepped out from the back, older, gray-haired, carrying an air of command. He approached me slowly. Son, what year are you from? 2025. The room fell silent. The man closed his eyes and exhaled, as if he'd just confirmed his worst fear. Then he opened them again and looked directly into mine. Then you need to hear the truth. All of it. We sat around a cracked metal table, the hum of generators vibrating through the floor. The leader introduced himself as Marshall Hayes, though everyone simply called him Marshall. He told me everything. About the collapse of traditional governments. About the rise of a global corporate regime called Unigov. About the absorption of every nation into a unified world system, one enforced by machines, surveillance, and population management. When I asked what happened to America, his jaw tightened. It didn't fall, he said. It was erased. He pulled out a faded map, one that had been defaced with new borders, new labels. Once the economic collapse hit in the late 2030s, the government fractured. States turned on each other. Corporations stepped in, promising stability. They lied. By 2040, Unigov declared the old nations obsolete. Resistance was eliminated. My throat tightened. So the people, the culture, the history? Gone, Marshall said, outlawed. I felt sick. Like every memory I carried, every song, every flag, every childhood moment had turned into contraband without me knowing. But you said there's a resistance, I whispered. There is, Marshall said. And we've been waiting for something. Or rather, someone. He placed something on the table. A broken device. My device. The time machine that had dragged me into this nightmare. My chest tightened. How do you have that? It was found years ago, he said softly. In the ruins. We never knew where it came from. But we always believed it belonged to someone important, someone who hadn't arrived yet. He leaned closer. And in a tone that felt like prophecy, he said, You didn't time travel by accident. Before I could speak, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the chamber. A young woman burst through the doorway. Marshall! Trackers, hundreds of them, closing in fast. Panic erupted. People grabbed weapons, supplies, backpacks. Marshall turned to me, gripping my shoulder hard. You've brought the future back to us. Now you need to choose: run with us, or go back and stop all of this before it begins. I don't know how to get back. Then you'd better learn. The steel door at the end of the bunker exploded inward. Blue light flooded the room. Machines poured through the smoke like metal phantoms. Marshall shoved me behind him. Move! Get him to the escape tunnel! Hands grabbed me, pulling me away as the room filled with gunfire, sparks, screams. I choked out, Marshall! He looked back just once. And the last thing I saw before the tunnel door slammed shut was a machine lunging toward him, blue light searing the air, and his voice echoing down the tunnel. Change the past! Now I'm running. Deeper and deeper into a darkness lit only by the flickering glow of my broken time device. Behind me, the machines are getting closer, ahead of me. I don't know what waits. All I know is this: I have to survive, I have to go back. I have to stop America from ever falling. But the tunnel splits ahead, 2 paths, identical, endless. And the machines are almost here. I don't know where to go. I don't know which path leads home. And as the lights behind me grow brighter and metal footsteps echo closer, one terrifying truth hits me: I may have already taken the wrong path.